Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're at Ferries McDonald. This will be a separate video, but it's the third one filmed this afternoon. As they were at Ferries McDonald now. The previous two videos were Native Avenue and Mount Barker Summit. Yeah, we're going to go for a wander around here. We're at a different section of the park than I normally go for a wander around. So we're in the eastern section of the park today. We're going to be doing this trail, which is the only trail in this section. Yeah, and pretty much this is the species of orchid we're going to be looking for today. Caladinia cardiochila. Yeah, it's much sandier over this side and a slightly different assemblage of orchids. So over in the western side, I'll be looking for Caladinia stellata, xanthochyla, Caladinia stricta. Whereas over here, it's like white sort of sand for the most part, right, rather than the red clay soil. And over this side, there's a lot of Caladinia capillata, so the wispy spider orchid. You've got Caladinia cardiochila, which is over the other side as well, but just not as prevalent. And then you got Caladinia stricta, which again is over the other side in big numbers. And then Caladinia verrucosa here as well. Might be a little bit early for those two green combs, but certainly I'd expect to see wispy spider orchids and Caladinia cardiochila over here. We are racing the light a little bit. It's maybe an hour until sunset. Here we go. Get our first green comb. Look at that. Still see the car. This guy down here. I think it's a very small example. This would be Caladinia stricta, I'd say. But yeah, that's one of the few orchids we'll be looking at over this side of the park. Alright, I'm going to grab some photos of this guy and then we'll get to walking. So slightly weirdly for here, I've seen two green combs before I've seen any wispy spider orchids, but that's okay. Another one of these guys. Again, I think these are Caladinia stricta, these ones. They're a cool looking green comb. They are very common. They're a bit like a Caladinia tentaculata up in the hills. Out here in the Murray Mallee, these guys are probably the prevalent species. Yeah. Haven't seen any cardiochila yet. They are quite small and it might require me to get my eye in a little bit. But I'll bring you in as soon as I find one. So we have found our first cardiochila for the walk. It's not the nicest example, but it's the first one we've seen, so I'll show you it anyway. So it's down here in amongst these little ant hills. It's this little guy here. So it's quite a pale one, and he's pretty closed up. They can be much more open and much more colourful, but yeah. They're a gorgeous little orchid. You can see how small they are compared to the other spider orchids that we see. It's my thumbnail there. Yeah. These are probably one of my favourite spider orchids. They're super variable. They can be very dark. They can have like teeth on the edges of the labellum, and they can be pale or, yeah. Just a really cool little orchid. So we'll take a photo of this guy and then we'll move on. A few stricta here. Nice one back in here. So in my experience, the stricta are quite variable as well. Differentiated from like the Caladinia verrucosa, because the verrucosa has golden clubs on the sepals. and stricter doesn't have any clubs at all. So if we look at these guys here, these are stricter. I presume they're stricter. I'm just going to pretend I know what I'm talking about here. And you can see on their feet there, the ones at the bottom. So these two, there's no like expanded clubs or anything. They just taper out as the petals do, which are like the hands out to the side. Also, yeah, I think that's about as far as I'd go with being able to differentiate them. They are a nice looking green comb though. I think the fact that they have that light coloured strip on the labellum between the dark and the green is also an identifying feature, but don't quote me on that. I'm hoping we'll see some Varicosa today, but they're a little bit few and far between in my experience, so we'll see. So I'm probably a third of the way through the trail at the moment. I haven't seen a lot actually since like the first couple hundred meters. I am pushing through quite quick because I'm conscious of the light, which doesn't lend itself to spotting small orchids. I've seen a few buds here and there, but you just haven't spotted any Cardiokyla apart from that one pale one right at the beginning of the track, and I've only seen a couple more stricter from the first couple that I pointed out to you guys. Yeah, first impressions are it's very dry out here, as it's been everywhere else I've been to. Just been that kind of winter, I guess. I haven't seen any Caledonia capillata, like the wispy spider orchids. Then I have to remind myself that they are quite early flowering. I am out here much later than I would normally have been for a first visit. So, you know, kind of expected that I wouldn't see them. Just got to remind myself that it is the middle of September now. It's not late August anymore. So, yeah, it's starting to rain. It doesn't lend itself to making a video, but yeah, I'm going to keep pushing through here, and I will bring in the next orchid I find. I'd also just like to point out that the irony is not lost on me that I say that it's been super dry and it's really dry out here, and then it immediately starts raining. You know, it's the way it goes. Coming across, oh, there's one. It's a very small one. Coming across the top section of the trail now, and I've just spotted this guy. Make sure I'm not standing on any others. It's quite a good looking little one actually. Again, it's quite a pale example. It's a very small example. So again, this is Caledonia Cardiokyla, heart-lipped spider orchid. And again, they're very small, so thumbnail for size comparison there. Really awesome little orchids, and there's a few of them here. So I'm going to show you some of the other ones here. They're all quite pale, these ones. Even tiny one up there. So another one here. Don't mind the drips coming off my heart. Another little guy there. Got another one over here. We got this one, which is probably the smallest one I've seen so far. Down here, so real little guy. It's awesome. He's got a bit of a red lip going on, or red edged lip. So that's cool. Nice little colony going on there. Gives me hope that we'll see a few more as we travel along. I'm hoping to see some really red ones. The trick is just spotting them from the trail, really. They kind of stand out a little bit if they're right next to you, but sometimes you just have to stop and cast your eyes a little bit further afield to pick them out. What is that? Ooh, it looks like one that's been chewed, maybe. Yeah, it's seen better days, that one. Hat's dripping on my phone. Alright, I'll come back to you. Still just working our way across the top of the trail here at the moment. Normally see plenty of Cardiochila up here, but I haven't had anything leap out at me so far. I've been keeping my eye out for some of the Pterostylis species here in the park. Expect Pterostylis nana and Pterostylis mutica here, I think. I've seen a couple of cooked nanas, and I've seen one cooked mutica. I presume it's Pterostylis mutica anyway. Again, that just further evidence, I think, that it's been very dry out here and they just haven't had enough moisture to really do what they got to do. It's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. In previous years, there's been a big colony of Pterostylis mutica here. Well, I'm not seeing it, so I guess that's not happening at the moment. Oh well, that's the way it goes. We'll keep looking for more Cardiochila anyway as we make our way back down the hill again. So I did find one more Cardiochila, but it was so small that I wasn't really going to bother showing you. I'll just briefly show you. Tiny and not really open properly either. All on its own. But there is another orchid species here, which I've never actually seen flower here, but the leaves are here and there about the place. Pyrorchis nigricans, which have, the leaves can get like the size of the palm of your hand, but they're all quite small here. These guys respond to like fire to flower, so they're quite common all over the place. In most of the parks that I have been to, but I've only ever seen it in flower once out at Cox Scrub. I've never seen it flowering here, so they have quite a cool looking flower. Just don't see it that often. Yeah. Right. Carrying on. Okay, so I found another heart lip. Again, it's a similar coloration to the other ones we've seen. Actually, there's not a whole lot of variation in these guys today, but it's still cool to see them. So again, they're quite pale, just with the red lines on the labellum. Still a cool looking little flower, don't get me wrong. Just like to see a bit more variation from a very variable species. I'm not seeing any others. No, I tell a lie. I can see some others, and they're back in there. I don't know if the camera will pick them up. Just there, center frame. And there's another one back there as well, I can see on the camera screen now. So I might just scoot around the back there and have a look, see if they're a nicer flower, and then we'll carry on. We've got another pale one just here, right on the side of the track. The answer to my question in the last clip was no, the other flowers were not any different. They were kind of cooked, and there was a couple of cooked Pterostylis there, but not a nicer Cardiochila. So again, another, they've all been this kind of pale with the red lines today. That's the way it goes. It might be a function of how dry it is. I don't know. I don't know if that actually affects the coloration of orchids or which ones decide to pop up and which ones don't. I have actually seen a lot of like cooked Calladenia capillata stems, so they had been up and have died off, or you know, finished their flowering cycle. Not seen a lot of buds over this side of either like stricta or vericosa or anything, to be honest. Just to make a liar of me, here is a Calladenia vericosa. So you can see, compared to the stricta we saw earlier in the video, so this guy's got those little clubs. Focus for me. You can see the little clubs on the sepals and one on the dorsal. And there's not quite as much of a light band between the red tip on the labellum and the green section of the combs. So yeah, it's a nice Calladenia vericosa there. I'm not seeing any others immediately around it, so it's all on its own lonesome at the moment. Yeah, we'll grab a photo of that guy because I don't see too many of those. Not here anyway. So it's really hard to be disappointed when you actually find the 3 species that you mentioned at the start of the video. But yeah, would have been lovely to see a few more. Almost at the end of the trail now, and I've almost lost the light. So still got some hopes that we might see a couple more, either the stricta or the vericosa. I feel like any more cardiocarla we see are just going to be the pale ones, which are fine, except that I told you guys they're super variable, and I haven't really been able to show you that, but it's the way life plays, isn't it? Yeah, so we're just heading back downhill now towards the car. We're not far off the car park, so I might just cut away for a little bit, and I'll either bring you back in for another orchid, or I will bring you back in when we're at the car and bid you farewell for another video. Alright, so it seems like this bottom end of the park down towards the road is where the orchids are a little more prevalent this year. We've got a nice pair of Calladenia stricta here. These guys have been more variable than the Calladenia cardiocarla today, the few that we've seen. Yeah, another couple there. They normally flower in slightly bigger groups than this, but I haven't really seen too many buds around. And when I have seen the flowers, it's just been the odd one here or there. I can see another orchid back up in here, looking behind me. What was this one? This is a cardiocarla just here. You get another one of these pale ones. It's not going to focus for me, is it? There we go. Another one of these pale ones. They pretty much all look like that today. Yeah. It's not too far from that vericosa, to be honest, but haven't seen any of the Felidenias today, like Felidenia deformis. Normally they're pretty prevalent over here, but they've just been non-existent. I guess they've either finished flowering over this side of the park or didn't flower. They're not as common over this side as they are over in the spot where I normally go for a wander around, but would expect to see some. Here's another cardiocarla. Nearly walked straight past it. A little bit redder this one, but it's still in the same vein as all the others we've seen. We're going to focus camera. What's the focus on my fingers and not that awkward. There we go. So yeah, you can see it's still that pale with the red lines, but it's got a bit more red in it, this one. Can't see any others. Oh yes, I can. Telling lies again. It's a green comb over here. Even the strictors are small this year for whatever reason. Can't see any more for reals this time. No, I can. We're gonna go backwards over here a little bit. Can you see it on the camera? Probably not. We'll zoom in for you. Great. Just there. Looks like a green comb. Probably the biggest one I've seen today, to be honest. There's another one next to it. So obviously they are about. Oh, it's a maggoted one though. It's unfortunate. There's a nice one here though. So yeah, there's a few around. Very small flowers this year. There you go. I can see another one back there. That one might be a cardiokyla. Again, can you see it on the camera? Zoom in. Zoom in. Can you spot it yet? Zoom in. Looks like it's probably a cardiokyla, doesn't it? Warrants further inspection, so let's carefully make our way in there. And yes, upon closer inspection, cardiokyla it is. Another pale one. Having a quick scan around, like down on my knees at the moment. It's actually much easier to see the orchids when you get down on their level. Surprise, surprise. I'm losing the light though, so can't see any more. So we might just spin around and head back to the trail. Yeah. All right. Careful not to step on anything. There is another very small. That might have been a wispy, I think, that one. Or is it a... I don't know. It's pretty well done anyway, whatever it was. Watching when we put out big old feet. Ouch. So yeah, definitely this bottom end, as I say, we're at the lower elevation side of this side of the park currently. Seems to be where the higher orchid density is at this very moment anyway. I'd say this year, but you know, that's a broad sweeping statement that I can't really back up with any real facts. Alright, this is a bit of a long cut right now, so I'm going to stop it there and I'll bring you back in when we're back at the car probably. So we're almost back at the car, but it's hard to walk past these guys. They stand out from a mile away. It's only the second one I've seen today. It is still in bud, but got Calladenia verrucosa again. And you can easily see the golden clubs there, even at the bud stage. So that'll be a nice flower when it pops out. In the next week or so, I guess that'll open up. Haven't seen any more flowers, but it's cool to at least see some buds and the verrucosa as well. I was actually considering going out to Ettrick or Lowen this year, but given how dry it's been at these parks, it might not even be worth it. I don't know that the few orchids I've seen out in those places would actually oh, I mean the Lowen ones would be open. There's Telenature out there which would definitely open, but like the ones at Ettrick probably won't have flowered, I don't think. So it might not be worth it. I have just seen another green cone, although it looks pretty knackered. It's a Stricta. I just got a stick leaning on him. Stricta down there. Yeah. Just like to take this moment to thank anyone who's still watching. I realise there's only 3 or 4 people who actually watch, or from looking at my analytics anyway, who actually watch these videos right through to the end. So I appreciate you guys. If you're still watching at this point, still engaged, even if you're not, thanks for letting the video run. Yeah, almost reached 350 subscribers on the channel now, and I'm very conscious of the fact that most of those subscribers have come through from my shorts, and a lot of those shorts are probably fishing related, so those people aren't here for this kind of content. But I find this kind of long form content easier to make and more enjoyable to make than trying to film fishing in a long form content, so long form format I should say. So yeah, anyway, thanks for all the subscribers, and thanks to the guys who support my long form stuff. Yeah. If you had any thoughts or ideas or something you'd like to see me do, probably more regarding like the orchids or the hiking sort of stuff, let me know in the comments. I do a lot of fishing too, but I prefer to be fishing rather than actually filming if I'm out doing that sort of thing. Yeah, so but the hiking and the orchid stuff, very easy for me to film on the camera, and I enjoy sharing that with people who enjoy consuming that sort of stuff. So yeah, let us know in the comments anyway. Got another Stricta here. Another nice little one. All these poles have gone in since the last time I was here. They weren't here last time. Granted, it's probably been 12 months, probably longer, since I've been over this side of the park. I like them. I think it's good. Alright, we're almost back to the car. I'll come back to you. That's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. We've just completed the loop. So just doubling over stuff we've already been over now. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I am doing my best to try and get a bit more regular with the long format uploads. It doesn't always work out, but you know, doing what I can. Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one. Hooray.